All right, you guys. So it has been a while since I've done a sit down video, and today I have something for you.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishawn, and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a small child, all the things. Those things interest you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. All right, so if you have been here for a while, I am an insurance adjuster. I'm a field adjuster in the homeowners department of a major insurance company. Right now, however, I am working a special assignment working on the wildfire claims that occurred earlier this year in January. So I wanted to come and kind of just discuss some things that I noticed as an adjuster after having done this for 10 years, a little over 10 years. I noticed that there are some things that people don't know about their homeowner's insurance policy. So today I'm going to talk about 5 things that you didn't know and kind of help you navigate those items. So if you're interested, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so jumping right in, I would say the first thing to know about your insurance policy is that it doesn't cover everything. Now, this may come as a shock to some people. They think that if they have damage, that means that there is coverage if they have insurance, and that's not true. So what I've noticed is that a lot of times people think that maintenance falls under items that could be covered, and maintenance is like a big one. You have a duty to maintain your home, and you'll even see that in the policy. That is actually specifically excluded. And exclusion is just basically anything that is specifically outlined saying that this is not covered by your policy. You're expected to maintain your home, and the policy is meant to cover sudden and accidental damages. That's a term that you will hear a lot if you have a claim. Was there direct physical loss? Was there direct physical damage? That's a term that we use as adjusters to determine if coverage applies. So when we inspect your homes, that's what we're looking for. Is this damage pre-existing? Is this damage because the item hasn't been maintained, or is it new and fresh damage? Sometimes the damage can overlap. So that's something that's kind of handled on a case-by-case basis, because we do owe for the direct physical loss and, again, sudden and accidental. But if it's something that's determined to be a maintenance issue, that will be pushed back to the consumer. Also, depending on where you live, a lot of times there are different events that aren't covered by the standard insurance policy. The 2 things that come to mind are earthquakes and floods. So for earthquakes specifically, I live in California, so that's something that we will have to add to our policy. You either have to get it, you can get it through your insurance company if they offer that coverage through I believe it's a CEA. It's like a separate charge that you would pay on your premium for specific earthquake coverage. So if in the event there is an earthquake and you have that coverage, there'll be a separate deductible, and it'll be handled under that particular policy. I believe in the South, or like areas where flooding is prominent, there's also a specific like flood damage coverage that you can get. But it's coverage that you have to get in order to have coverage for those types of damages. It's not included on your standard policy. So my biggest thing is to make sure that when you're getting these homeowner policies, you're skimming through it. I'm not saying to read the whole policy, because even if you do, sometimes you won't understand some of the language. It'll likely just need to be interpreted to you. Even me as an adjuster, sometimes I get stuck on, certain terminology, or, would this be covered? Would that be covered? Et cetera, et cetera. If you have any questions, you could always ask your agent, if something is covered or not. That is the biggest, I guess, advice I could give you. If you're not sure, make sure you ask, but be sure to kind of skim through your policy, because you never know when you might need to use your insurance, and it's better to know and be informed than to not know and be sad later. Okay, so moving right along. The second thing that people don't always account for on their homeowner's policy is your payout depends on how your policy is written. So you might have a policy that says that your settlement will be actual cash value, whereas another person might have a policy that says they get paid replacement cost value. So I'll kind of give a brief description of the 2 and give a couple of examples to make it easier to understand. Actual cash value just basically means the replacement cost value minus depreciation. That amount is what you get. So let's just say we're talking about paint. That's probably like the easiest thing I can describe. So the depreciation will be lower if the paint is newer. It'll be in better condition, and if you just got it painted, let's say a year ago, then the payout that we give you is going to be closer to today's dollars. Now, if you haven't had your home painted in, let's say, 10 to 15 years, that paint that you have is not worth as much now because it's older. So the depreciation is going to be higher. So you'll get that actual cash value because the insurance policy is meant to indemnify you. And technically, they only owe you for what you had. Now, replacement cost value is a little bit different. So replacement cost value basically means that your insurance policy will pay you today's dollars. However, up front, you'll get paid actual cash value. So you'll get paid the replacement cost less depreciation up front. And then once you show that you spent that money and that you have incurred that depreciation, so you paid today's cost, the insurance company will reimburse you that replacement cost value. I hope that made sense. That's kind of the simplest way that I can explain it. And if you have more questions or have a specific situation that you want me to touch on, let me know in the comments and I'd be more than happy to clarify further. Okay, so number 3. The third item that people don't always realize happens in homeowners insurance is your claims history does follow you. So I used to work in a bank. So I'll give this example. I used to work in a bank and there was a system called check systems. I don't know if it's still called that because it's been like 15 years since I worked in a bank. But basically, if you overdrew an account at another bank and they close your account, now you can't open an account there, and you try to go to another bank to open an account, that bank was able to pull up your history to see, oh, you overdrew your account at such and such bank. I can't remember if it gave like the dollar amounts and all that stuff, but it did give enough information to know that you were not in good standing. So 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't be able to get a checking account anywhere else. So in insurance, there's something similar. There is a national database where your claims history goes into. Now, the reason why this is important is because it gives underwriters. So if you're trying to start an application with a new insurance company, it'll kind of give underwriters an idea of what type of insured you are. You have some people that file claims for every little thing, and you have some people that only file claims for big stuff. Also, you have people that clearly have some type of plumbing issue, or maybe their home was a fire hazard, so you see like a pattern of them filing the same types of claims. This is helpful information for an insurance company to determine if they want to move forward with insuring them. On the other side, as an adjuster, when we get new claims, we look at this claims history too, because you have situations where people will try to claim the same damage. Biggest example I can give is, you had some damage on your home and maybe it was denied by this insurance company. So you're pissed and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna leave. So you go to another insurance company and you file a claim for that same damage. We are able to see that you filed a claim for the same types of damages, and we can even get in touch with the insurance company to get further details if we need to. So my biggest advice on that is, I think when it comes to smaller claims, especially, like if it's something that you can handle on your own, like let's say your deductible is $1,000 and the damages are like $500 or $1,500, just say. It might behoove you to just not file that claim. And here's the thing. We can't tell you whether or not to file a claim, so I'm talking to you more as like a consumer to consumer. It might not even make sense for you to file that little claim because you're already going to be out of pocket most of the money anyway. If there's coverage, you'll get your $500 for sure, but then it's going to go on your claims history. So some people choose not to file those smaller claims because also it could affect your premium moving forward, even if you stay with the same insurance company. You just want to make the best decision for your home, your household. If you feel it makes sense to, to file that claim, do it. But you can also even call your insurance company and let them know, hey, these are the damages that I have. You can talk to your adjuster and let them know. And I know if I'm the adjuster, I tell people the real, like, look, this is my estimate. My estimate is, $2,500. You have a $2,000 deductible. What do you want to do? And then you let me know what you want to do. If you want to move forward, cool. But if you don't, then we'll withdraw the claim. So now that's one thing I'm not sure about. If you withdraw the claim, I don't know if it'll still show as like a claim filed, but I don't think you get dinged for it because there was no payout. So just an FYI, something to kind of look out for. Whenever you file a claim, that history does follow you. Okay, so the fourth item may come as a surprise to some people, but I feel like y'all need to know. Your adjuster does not determine your coverage. Now, I have worked with several types of adjusters. I've worked with adjusters that are very lax in their investigation, and how they talk to people. I've worked with adjusters that act like the insurance company's money is their money, all that. I'm kind of somewhere in between. Like, at the end of the day, if you're my insured, I'm going to rock and roll with you, but I'm also going to keep it real with you. And if there's something that I cannot cover, I will let you know. And the reason why I can't cover something is never my decision. It's based on your policy. So when you present a claim to your insurance company, the adjuster's job is to investigate, gather all the information, ask you all the right questions, come out and inspect if needed, bring in vendors and bring in experts to help us determine, was this a long-term leak or was this something that just started? You know, did this wall collapse because something hit it, or did this wall collapse because it was old and not maintained? Things like that. So that helps us determine if something is covered or not. There are some items that are very obvious that they're covered, but then there are other items where we have to do a little more investigation. After that investigation, if you do get a denial, you are supposed to also receive a denial letter with policy language, because we have to tell you where in the policy it says that this particular damage isn't covered. So I understand being pissed off that, you know, you're paying this premium and, you know, you file a claim and now it's not covered, because it can mean a lot of things. Like, this could be financially devastating if it's something that is very expensive. You might just simply feel cheated because you've been paying your premium all this time, and, you know, the one time you need it, you're not able to get coverage. But it's important to understand that you have a policy that is shared with you for a reason. I'm guilty of this too. Like, I can't sit here and tell you that I know every little thing on my insurance policies. I mean, I do now. I know most stuff now because I'm an adjuster, and I mean, I have homeowners insurance myself. But I can say that knowing what I know now, I do try to go through my coverages and try to just kind of briefly skim everything just to kind of make sure that I have an idea of what's covered and what's not. So if I were to ever have to file a claim, I would kind of know. I mean, granted, I have an advantage because I'm an adjuster, but if I file a claim, I have an idea on whether or not something would be covered. So that's something to, you know, just kind of take into account. Like, it's not, even if your adjuster is an asshole, it's not their decision. They can't just deny something if it's actually covered. So that's one thing I will say. If you feel, however, that something is covered and, you know, you don't think your adjuster is listening and all that, there are different things you can do. A lot of times I'd recommend probably reaching out to like their direct manager to have a discussion, you know, emailing or calling like a higher up to, you know, just have somebody take another look at it. These are things that you can do. But for the most part, if your claim is denied, it is denied based on the policy. So as long as you get that letter and, you know, you read it, just really be objective and, you know, try to understand from a professional perspective, you know, like take your feelings out of it and read over it. But yeah, the adjuster does not make the decision. It is the policy. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about, I've kind of talked about a few times throughout this video, is maintenance. Maintenance of your home matters, and people don't realize that. As an adjuster, I cannot tell you how many times I've gone into a home that, like, where I'm not working, right? I'm not working, but I notice if, you know, your baseboards are a bit swollen because of some previous water damage, or you have some, I don't know, like maybe your cabinets are swollen because there's clearly something leaking or something that leaked and it doesn't look like it's been addressed. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see those different stains. I see the mold, like things that probably other people wouldn't catch, I catch because it's my job. So if you are a homeowner, it's important to understand that it can be a lot of work, and depending on how old your home is will determine how much work goes into your home. I'll say for me, so we just purchased a home a couple of years ago. So everything in our home is new, but we have had some situations where, you know, we've had like an issue with the toilet upstairs, and we thought we had a plumbing issue, but it was nothing. So it's things like that. You just want to make sure that if you think there's a problem, you address it as soon as you can. Because if it becomes a big issue, that is going to come up with your insurance company. Is this something that's been going on that you let just fester, which is considered negligence on your policy? Or did this just happen? Now, if you have a pipe that just randomly burst, you know, those things happen, then you're likely going to have coverage. But if you notice that there was a leak, or like you heard, you know, water, leaking in a wall or something like that, and you didn't do anything to it, and then one day it just, bust. When that wall is opened, or, when the floor is pulled up, we can see that that's been going on for a long time. If there's, evidence of like rotten wood or, corroded pipes and things like that, we can see that. And so some of your claim might be taken care of, but then other parts of the claim may be denied, or the claim might be denied altogether. So it's important just to kind of do checks, make sure that you are checking your plumbing ever so often, and make sure that you're checking your flooring ever so often. Like if you feel any, inconsistencies in the floor, check it out and see what's going on. It might not be anything, but it could be something that could potentially be a big problem later. So yeah, maintain your house. All right, you guys, so that is all that I have for you today. I really hope that this video was helpful. Like I said, I felt the need to do it because just in talking to people and, trying to explain coverages and stuff, I noticed that there's a disconnect. And I think even with vehicle insurance, if you want me to do one of these videos specifically for vehicles, let me know in the comments and I got you. But I think that, a lot of times, like, we're required to have insurance, but we don't really know what it covers, or we don't really know what it doesn't cover. And then we are blindsided when we have a claim. So again, emotions are high because there's an issue, and now you're in a position where financially you might be screwed. And that's the last thing that you want. Really, that's the last thing that we want, because insurance is meant to protect you. But if there's something that we cannot cover or something that we can't address, it's typically because of the policy. So I just want to try to help you to understand what you're signing up for, what is covered versus what's not, and just have you do your due diligence to make sure that you don't end up in a situation where you're blindsided and you have to pay for something that you don't have the money for, or if you do have to pay for it, you can at least plan for it so you're not caught off guard. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, definitely go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It really helps with YouTube algorithm. If you made it this far and haven't subscribed, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
You mad that they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I